This is the New American Media.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello everybody, welcome to Agree to Disagree, here on the TNAM Radio Network, part of the newamericanmedia.com. I will be your host once again. My name is Brian Engelman, and you can follow me on Twitter. If you know how to find my private page on Twitter. Happy Halloween in advance, everybody, by the way. One of my favorite holidays of the year. I'll tell you what, you can follow our company page on Twitter. Will that be all right? How about you go do a search and make sure you sign up for at American_media_. You can follow us at American_media_. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. What do we do? We just cracked 500 subscriptions, 120,000 video views, something like that. Thank you to everybody. A lot of archived content, a lot of cool interviews, a lot of archived shows. You really should check it out. YouTube.com/The New American Media. You can subscribe to that, comment and such. You can embed those videos. Good times. Help us disseminate some info. Also on Facebook, run a search, The New American Media. Spaces in between. The New American Media. Like the page. And check out our homepage, thenewamericanmedia.com. So let's do this. Been paying attention to the Hindenburg? The Hindenburg? Yeah, good times, that Hindenburg of an Obamacare website. And somebody who's been following it very closely. We're going to bring into the program Blake the eccentric Walley. Let's just grab him now and get things going, shall we?
Hello.
Hey, Blake, you're live on the air. How's it going, sir?
Excellent, Brian. How are you?
You know, living the dream. I was telling people that you've been following. By the way, what are you dressing up for Halloween?
I actually have no intent. I have not decided yet if
What?
I'm going to dress up at all.
What?
No, not sure yet.
What is your favorite holiday, then?
Technically, I'm on call. That's a good question. Favorite holiday? Yeah, it used to be St. Patrick's Day when I was more of a drinker. I don't know. New Year's? Tough question.
You know, there's
Sorry, I'm not the good one to ask on this stuff. Go ahead.
You know there's a holiday today, right?
No.
No, it's not April 20th. I'm just saying.
That would. Well, maybe. It depends.
Is that an officially recognized holiday at this point? I don't know.
Not so much. But yeah, if it was different, if I was in Washington or Colorado and it just happened to be sometime in the third week of April, yeah, you know what? Maybe that would be my new favorite holiday.
Well, I did tweet something out earlier today. I said, Happy United Nations Day. You have no jurisdiction in the U.S. and must remember that our Constitution trumps anything you do. So it's United Nations Day. Yeah, so anyway, I digress. I was just talking about some Halloween action, and I got my Guy Fawkes mask ready to rock and roll for Halloween. So just wondering if you were going to do something the same. But what I was also telling people...
the last couple of years I've gone to look for a Guy Fawkes mask, but I've always gone so last minute that they ran out. So, but no, I applaud the choice. That was a good one.
Yeah, a friend picked one up for me, which is fantastic because now I'm ready to rock and roll and getting excited for it. Just like I mean, let's face it, like the nation is so excited for the Obamacare rollout. I was bringing up holidays and Halloween because I mentioned that right as I got into the show because I did like a maniacal kind of laugh. Talked about Halloween, and I also said that you have been covering this Obamacare Hindenburg for a long time, and you have been finding a ton of stories, and there are so many different angles to pick this apart on. I've been listening to your show, and everybody else can listen to your show as well. It's called Eccentric Perspective. It's on freedomizerradio.com every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from noon to 1:30 p.m. Pacific. You can sign up for the podcast by searching Eccentric Perspective on iTunes and getting that squared away so you get those delivered to you. And you can check out your homepage, eccentricperspective.com. And all of your witty ramblings, remarks, and rants can be found on Twitter at eccentric99. Of course, that's one of our favorite places to follow you. But Blake,
Right.
let's just get into Obamacare, man. I mean, so many different angles to. I mean, how many important, relevant bullet points have you found on the Obamacare disaster?
Oh, I mean, it's just it's never ending. It's a gift that keeps on giving. It's a comedian's dream. I guess the late night talk show hosts are having a field day with it. Everybody pretty much is. This is just it's bad, and I've never used the word Hindenburg to describe it, but I really like that one, Brian. That's a good one.
Hey, you know what? The humanity. Oh, the humanity. It's a gift that keeps on giving, so I guess it's a treat for you, but it's a trick on the American people, isn't it?
Well, I guess they're kind of finding that out the hard way, and it's been pretty amusing following this story. Yeah, just to watch everybody, watch the Democrats and the liberals just flop around right now, just freaking out. But I don't know. I don't know where to begin because it's hard to believe it's been this spectacular of a disaster, but it really has delivered.
Well, almost as if it were intentionally planned to fail.
People are saying that, and I can't dispute that because it is so bad, and they didn't quite test it properly. And the fact that they've had all this time, and the fact that it would be this bad, it almost makes you think that maybe they did do it. Because how could they be that incompetent? It's hard to really to make that argument either. How could they not know this? They even had really, and they've had more than enough time to get this. There's just no excuse for it. So I really don't know what to say.
Blake, hold on though. I mean, yes, I'm not a fan of Obamacare, but let's be honest. If the Republicans hadn't shut down the government for a couple of days, this would have been on time, right? This would have all been worked out. But that shutdown
right.
is the thing that really screwed this up because they don't like the president because they're racist.
Exactly, Brian. I think you summed it up perfectly. We could probably just end the show right here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, everyone.
You can be sure to follow Blake the Eccentric. He does a radio program. It's really good times. Happy Halloween. Talk with you later, guys. Peace. Okay, just kidding. Anyway.
All right.
I love the early rollout of music. That really gives that cracks the hell out of it. No, but it's insane. I was listening to some of our favorite programs. You're a huge fan of InfoWars. I like a lot of their stuff as well. Coast to Coast AM. I'm a big fan of that stuff. And I was listening to an interview with George Norrie where he was talking with McAfee, the inventor of the software firm, and he was on InfoWars as well. And Alex has been on. Alex Jones has been on Coast to Coast and all that jazz. But
yeah, they all intertwine. So is Norrie. Yeah, they all we're all part of the media here.
Yeah, but the McAfee interview, I mean, listening to what was going on there, he says he's looked at the source code. Was it 50 million lines of code? And Facebook only has 20 million lines of code to operate. And McAfee, just I'll sum it up by saying you guys should just check it out. Get the Coast Insider for a couple bucks a month and check out the interview, or go on Alex's website and find the interview. But I mean, McAfee could not believe how sloppy, backward, insecure, meaning not insecure like, wow, my signature legislation that carries my name is just a complete Hindenburg. But it's not secure where all of your data could be stolen quickly. And it's so backward that they changed it so you can't shop and then put your info in. They want your info before you get to shop, and then you get emails if you don't complete it saying you're going to be fined $4,000 for not buying something that didn't exist. It's just from every from every angle coming at this Obamacare website Hindenburg, none of it works. It's insane. It's intentionally insane. These could not be accidents, Blake.
Right, and there's a story from some guy from Iowa. It was like the only person that signed up apparently in Iowa, and it took him like 100 times, like 100 tries to get through the system before he finally did. And then, like, the insurance company or something, when they finally got the application, they called him. It was like he had won the lottery. It was like, oh, my God, you're the first person that's gotten through the system. And, one person in Delaware. And, of course, when Obama did his little speech on Monday, his big sales pitch, like, the only people that were behind him were, like, the only people that they could find that, like, had actually successfully registered or something like that. There's only, like, maybe 3 of them. It's something outrageous. And they're scared to give out the numbers all they can do is keep saying, oh, it must be, so many people are excited. They went and signed up for it and got on the system and just crashed the whole thing. But they're really scrambling right now. It looks bad, real bad. And I don't know if they were thinking they could just blame this on the Republicans or what have you, but they've been blaming the Republicans for shutting down the government for 2 weeks or whatever. And then they roll this thing out, and just to the epic disaster that it's been. And it's like, really? You blame the Republicans and shut down the government for this train wreck that nobody can sign up for, and you didn't test properly? I mean, it's just absurd. It's incompetent. The words do not describe. I do not know what to say. And yeah, McAfee, I did not hear the interview on Coast to Coast, but I did hear it on Alex, and I did hear him. I think he said he was going to be invited on Fox, but he couldn't even go on the network and explain the disaster that it was. Or just because I think he also goes. Brian, help me out here. You listened to him. Did he kind of mention that maybe this thing was? I don't know how they expected it to be successful, and that maybe it is designed to fail. I don't know.
Well, he definitely brought out the fact that the company that was chosen on a no-bid contract, the one that bundled a whole bunch of money and has been lobbying the Obama campaign and Obama administration for several years, was given a no-bid contract on this, and their only expertise in this field was screwing something up in Canada.
In Canada?
Yeah. So hey, these guys stink in Canada, so let's bring them here. Hey, you stunk in the AAAs. You weren't very good. You're batting about $172. With about 3 home runs, a couple stolen bases, a bunch of fielding errors. So, hey, let's call you up from the AAA squad, and why don't you start in the big leagues? Hey, we got the World Series going on. By the way, I bet you the red team is going to win. A couple of components here. Iowa, isn't that the place where the Republican primaries, is that the one that launches it? Is that Iowa? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, they're usually the first place they go.
Okay, so the guy from Iowa, maybe it's just keeping in tradition that the first one to sign up for Obamacare would be this, in Iowa. That's where the first of a lot of things happen, kicking off presidential campaigns, like when Ron Paul was shafted by the RNC. I digress. But you were also talking about that guy where it seemed like he won the lottery. You recall that a couple seconds
ago.
Well, what I'm thinking there, are you familiar with the story of the lottery?
No.
Okay. Details of a contemporary small-town American life are contrasted with an annual ritual known as the lottery. In a small village of about 300 residents, the locals are in an excited yet nervous mood on June 27th. Children gather stones as the adult townsfolk assemble for their annual event that in the local tradition has been practiced to ensure a good harvest. One character quotes from an old proverb, "Lottery in June, corn be heavy soon." Though there are some rumors that nearby communities are talking of giving up the lottery. In the first round of the lottery, the head of each family draws a small slip of paper from a black box. Bill Hutchinson gets the one slip with the black spot, meaning that his family has been chosen. In the next round, each Hutchinson family member draws a slip, and Bill's wife, Tessie, gets the marked slip. In keeping with tradition, each villager obtains a stone and begins to surround Tessie. The story ends as Tessie is stoned to death while she bemoans the unfairness of the situation. So, if you actually were the first person to sign up for Obamacare, are you actually drawing the black slip yourself because this Obamacare nightmare is essentially going to destroy healthcare, push all the doctors out, be essentially a Trojan horse for a single-payer system, quality of care is going to disappear, innovations are going to disappear, all your private information is going to disappear, your doctor-patient privilege is going to disappear, and essentially he might have drawn the wrong slip by being the first person? Is that possible?
That's possible. I mean, I can't believe the dedication. Who would try 100 times? I could see, being really dedicated, being a real big Obama supporter, but after, 10 or even 20 times, you'd think, you know what, I got time. I can wait another month for them to get the bugs out, and then I'll try back again once they have this thing fixed. But no, it's incredibly dedicated. He was just on a mission to prove it. I don't know.
By the way, I want to talk with you about that fainting woman. I know we didn't cover that much. I'm just going to put it on the back burner. I'm just planting the seed because I want to get back to that in a second. But
I know we almost got it. Yeah, with that Rose Garden speech.
Yeah, I want to get to that in a second. But just first, I mean, The Obamacare mess. Like, what kind of angles have you been covering this from? Because it's an epic disaster on every front. But by the way, I watched MSNBC to hear about how great Kentucky is doing with Obamacare. That's the narrative on MSNBC. Did you catch that one with Rachel Maddow yesterday?
Nothing would surprise me at this point, but I'm not. I don't even know where to begin with that. So,
No,
where they actually found a few people that actually got through and
Yeah.
maybe actually saved money. Did they actually? That's the other thing. Well, yeah. What angle do we hit it from? There's so many different aspects of this. But what did you catch? What her point was?
They're saying that Kentucky set up an exchange and it's doing fantastic, and they love it there in Kentucky. I don't know if that's true
Well,
or
I
not.
guess we'll just have to take her word for it. And why would they ever mislead us on MSNBC?
Well, I've said that before. If a Republican's in office, you have to watch MSNBC, Russia Today, and read The Guardian to get the real news. And if a Democrat's in office, you got to watch Fox, The Guardian, Russia Today to get the real news. You got to go for the opposition to actually dig in and find the real story. But the website in and of itself. How in the world could it not have been beta test? How could it not have been beta tested? That's my question. How did they not alpha test it, beta test? Like, how do they not really go through the process of doing this? Okay, let me.
Yeah, they're trying to get questions for this. You're exactly right. And I mean, just going back to the. Wow. All right, so I'm looking at McAfee. Talking about millions of lines of codes. I guess the government even asked him for help.
That's
and I think he said that basically he couldn't. He couldn't. It was beyond fixing. They would have to scrap the whole system over, which is exactly what Mike Adams is also saying. He's also a programmer. So that's the one thing I can say, because people say it's designed to fail. I do not know computer codes. I can't look at it and go, oh yeah, I can see exactly what they did wrong, and it looks like it was intentional. I don't know, but I do trust when two big names like that are saying that there's something wrong with it. It would take months to fix at the minimum, but that it would be easier to fix just by scrapping the whole thing and starting over. That's crazy. And then, what other angles do we want to hit this from? I forgot. There was another one I was going to mention, Brian, and I got sidetracked to finish up this McAfee point. But go ahead.
I mean, there's so many angles because, even just from that one particular component, you can't unscramble eggs. Hey, can you clean this up and fix it? No, the whole thing is a disaster. The whole thing is a mess. It's almost like you planned for it to not work. Because they're saying, 16 million people are going to be dropped from their insurance? Remember when the president said, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. And they're saying 16 million people are getting dumped off of their current health care plans. And this was one of the main concerns from people like myself from the beginning. This is going to be an attempt to dump everybody into a single-payer system. It's a Trojan horse to get it there. Except, guess what? You can't even sign up for this system. And guess what? I don't want the government having all my health information. Seriously, what's more sacred than your doctor privilege? Attorney-client privilege or your patient-doctor privilege. I don't want the government being my doctor. That's disgusting. I don't want them in my body, of my body. That has nothing to do with them. I'm not cattle and they're not the rancher.
No, I hear you. It's an invasion of privacy. Yeah, they're getting all this personal information on you. You have to register with that account, and then there's security issues with it. They're calling it a hacker's greatest dream, because even if you do trust the government and want to put all this personal information in this glitchy site, you have no expectation of privacy out of there either. There's so many different ways to. There really aren't any positives here on this healthcare thing. But I don't think anybody could have predicted it would be this disastrous. So yeah, you're talking about. Here's a Weekly Standard article here talking about 16 million Americans will lose their current plans. Everything they've said about it is bad, and then people are getting the. If you can actually get through the system, then you get met with all these sticker shock of how much money this is actually going to cost. People thought they were getting a good deal there. Oh, Republicans, they just don't want people getting health insurance. And it's just, what? And then people actually get on there. It's like, no, they don't want health insurance because it's money. They're getting something for nothing. And it's farther, but this whole thing is also depending on a bunch of healthy 27-year-olds, forced to sign up that are going to be paying the backbone, I guess, for everybody else. I don't know what they're thinking and how they're going to do this, but I know they're going to try to blame it on the Republicans.
But I thought that this was an Affordable Care Act. I thought it was going to get cheaper.
I know. And that's also what's so hilarious about it. So you'd think if it was, I don't know, affordable airline, and you went on kayak.com, and it was 12 different airlines, but they were all like outrageously more expensive than they were before. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's nice that they put them all in one spot, but
I love the glitches these days. You have any glitches over on your radio show, Blake?
All the time.
What's the most recent glitch you've been having?
Boy, I don't know. Probably just system crashing, just weird things, shockwave player going out, good stuff like that. Who knows?
No, I don't know what they were thinking either, except that this is not the game plan. I heard somebody leave what was it? Someone called into a radio show in their opinion on Obama's thoughts about all this website and Sebelius. It's like, wake me up when we have single payer. Like this was never designed to work. You just collapse the current system under the Cloward and Piven strategy, and just wake me up. Wake me up when we have a single payer system.
Yeah, that could have been their intention, but as it's one thing to have to cook up the idea if you're sitting there with Obama and Valerie Jarrett and Dan Pfeiffer and whoever, the rest of his little senior staffers sitting around thinking, hey, what can we do? How do we get to a single payer? Can we make the system? Can we roll this out and make it so bad that it's not going to work, and then we can find a way to blame that on the Republicans, and then we'll let Kathleen Sebelius just go out there as a useful idiot. We won't tell her about any of this stuff. We'll just and if anything goes wrong, we can just throw her under the bus. And I have no idea what in the world these people are thinking, because you can't possibly have something this incompetent go down. And of course, today these firms, these companies making this stuff were grilled on Capitol Hill today, and they basically said that no, they would have liked more testing. One of the guys said that he actually did try to go through it, and he made it through the system, but he couldn't get the application to go through, so he couldn't confirm it. So I don't know what there is no excuse for it. I can't even believe we're covering this or talking about it, because this just can't happen. So you got to wonder: are they that corrupt, or are they that incompetent, or is it just a combination of both? And I think it's the combination of both. But then I don't know how they were intending this to work, or what they thought the American public would say about it. But I don't know. Can they go to the single pay? I don't know, because now we're going to be questioning them about, did they do this on purpose? I don't know.
Well, I know the American public threw the bums out in 2010. I can tell you that much. That's what happened when this was pushed through the last time. I see a similar tidal wave headed toward them in 2014. And you're already starting to see several of, well, let's just say you're starting to see a lot of Democrats starting to defect, if you will, that are already starting to call for delays and stuff. The president's calling for delay, but he doesn't have the authority to call for delay. He can't just rule by fiat. He can't just do this stuff on his own, except nobody's really stopping him. Like this whole American system of checks and balances has been turned into, I don't know, strong arms and bribery. I don't know where people are supposed to turn for an alternate system when, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like there's other options available. And it's like the people never wanted this thing. All of us, well, the people like you and I, Blake, we've seen the writing on the wall with this for a long time. We're not surprised by this. Let me ask you that question then. Do you think the Obama Kool-Aid drinkers are surprised by this? Just completely shocked that this is happening?
I would say there's definitely a panic right now, but there's still, I don't know if it's like Stockholm Syndrome or what. They just, they'll just defend the administration to the bitter end no matter what, which is very disturbing. But I mean, the ones that are actually trying to get enrolled or thought that they were, oh, thank God, now I can finally buy health insurance, and then they go onto the site, realize it doesn't work, or they actually make it through some of it, and then realize, oh my God, you mean it's going to cost me $300 a month? It's like, I don't have $300 a month. Wait a second. You know what? Maybe this isn't what I wanted, because I think most people out there just thought, oh, okay, I'll just sign in, and then boom, voila, I have health insurance. And no, that's not what it is at all. And the real kicker is that it's not affordable. So it'd be one thing, because they try to blame it on the Republicans, like, oh, they're trying to keep them from getting health insurance and blah. I forget what my point I'm going to go with here. But
well, about all the old people really excited to get on there, but they can't afford it, is what you're getting at. And, you know, the other component of that is that, yeah.
Well, they're kind of trying to keep people from getting it, but the point is they try to get it, and they realize it's way more expensive than they thought. Then they want to get out. And then you got to worry about getting paychecks garnished or liens on your house, and it's people are they're falling away from it, backfiring.
Well, and what they're saying is kind of the only people who are signing up are the really old with really horrible pre-existing conditions, and that's such a stupid phrase, pre-existing condition. I mean, you have a condition, that's what it is. Pre-existing what? I don't know. It's just kind of stupid. But I don't know, Blake. I are we supposed to be happy that this is imploding just like we knew it would? Or, I mean, because I don't feel happy about that. I feel slightly vindicated after being called a crazy tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorist, racist, Republican, and out of all those words, Republican is just as dirty as the others, because I'm not a Republican, but I don't feel good about this, but I feel slightly vindicated. How do you feel about this? How should people feel about this?
No, I don't know either, because it's another one of those things. They're trying to blame the Republicans. They were saying, oh, the Republicans are afraid it's going to work so well, and that they're going to look stupid, like they're shutting down the government because they're so afraid people are going to sign up for Obamacare, and they're going to save so much money, and then they're going to realize that I can't believe the Republicans were trying to prevent us from getting access to all this great health care, and then they realize, wait a second. Well, I don't know if they want to come to those terms and go, wait a second, maybe Ted Cruz and these people were right, and they were trying to warn us, and maybe we should have listened, and maybe they, all the wishful thinking, and they got to stop drinking the Kool-Aid here, and get a heavy dose of reality here. They're not looking out for your I don't know, your best well-being. I don't know. So, Brian, it's just unprecedented. I don't know what to say about it, because I wanted to. You want to feel good, like I know. This is one of those things. People are just. It's overwhelming, Brian. And I don't even. It's spectacular, and yet here I am rambling. There's so many different angles to attack this from, but at the same time, it's hard to believe that like I said, this would turn out this badly. And you're just sorry, Brian. I'm having a meltdown at the same time, because I'm just going in 15 different directions here. I got 20 points I want to make, and just trying to stay focused here. I don't know.
No, I mean I feel exactly the same way. Because you've been covering this pretty well over on Eccentric Perspective on Freedomizer Radio the past few days, and I have not found a single angle where this is an exciting thing, where prices have actually gone down. I haven't seen it. I just haven't found the good stories, and I don't know. I don't like it at all either.
You got people losing their plans or because of Obamacare. People are getting their hours cut. They're finding out that these guys are this company, whatever, this failed company in Canada or whatever. They're testing it. Say they, it shouldn't have gone through. They needed more time to test it. You got Obama's credibility melting. People can't trust him, and that's not just Obamacare. That's even his people in the media. Some of the people that have looked up to him. People around the world. You've got Jay Carney ducking out of a press briefing because he couldn't handle all the questions for Obamacare. You've got Kathleen Sebelius out on the run. She's supposed to testify next week, but they're still, playing these games of, there's just so many people signing up for it and excited about it. Yeah, you got programmers saying that the whole thing needs to be scrapped. You've got even the president coming out in the Rose Garden the other day telling people if the website doesn't work, call the hotline up.
I was going to bring that up earlier.
His hotline number is 1-800, it says like FU something, it spells out. And then people were calling up the number, of course, because there's so many people watching the speech. And then, of course, that phone system, they couldn't handle all the calls, so they either got a busy signal or they'd get through to the system, and then people would direct you back to the website because the phone system wouldn't work. And the navigators can't get it to work. And I'm sorry, because I'm trying to overwhelmed a few minutes ago. There's so many different angles, and we're still only scratching the surface of this giant monstrosity and all the problems and every different angle from it.
And that kind of reminds me, hello, thank you for calling the Affordable Care Act hotline. Due to high call volume, please redirect your efforts to the Obamacare website. Thank you. It's like, no, hold on, I just came from that's what I just did. That's what dealing with the mortgage companies felt like when I had to go through my loan modification process during the housing collapse. It's just like everybody passes you everywhere else. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody's accountable. Nobody's responsible. And the worst part about it is you're getting taxed for the privilege of going through the nightmare. As I'm watching the big banks getting bailed out and the government bailing out their buddies, their investment groups, the AIG, they go down the line, the folk on Wall Street, and it's like, wow. My taxes are going up. The credit card tab is being rung up so that these banks can keep extra money to avoid dealing with people like me to help fix the problem that I'm paying for the privilege of subsidizing them for them to not answer my phone calls. Oh, this is beautiful. And that's exactly what this Obamacare website. Yeah, what is the number? It's 1-800-FU-CKY.
Yeah, YO, I think. There's no U on it.
Okay, yeah. So that's in. Have you verified that? Have you called that?
No, it hasn't been disputed. I have not called it, no, but many outlets have reported it, and nobody is saying that it's bogus. That is real. Well, I mean, if you just look at the number and then just check out the digits on the phone, it should add up. So I don't know how somebody actually found that out unless it was leaked. Who actually goes and tries to spell out names with that stuff. But I'm wondering if they did it as a joke. Maybe they did it as a joke. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past these people at this point.
Wasn't it the Clinton administration that when George W. Bush made it to the White House, they came in and they found that all the computers were missing the letter W? Like all the W's had been popped off of the keyboards?
No, I never heard that.
Okay, no. But that's the level of childishness in the Democratic Party. Not to say I support the Republicans necessarily, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to say, hey, you want to toss another middle finger at them? These teabaggers. Hey, here we go. Let's set a number that says 1-800-FUC. You get where we're going? Yeah, let's go there. Now let me bounce around real quick because this Obamacare thing, it will implode the skull. It will melt the brain. It already has for me. There's this report going around today where U.S. soldiers are being allegedly told that Christians and Tea Party members are radical threats. Have you had a chance to cover that one at all?
Yeah, I did cover that today a bit. So, yeah, that's definitely another disturbing. They're flipping the script, basically. I guess anybody that disagrees with the Obama administration is now a terrorist, but no. Yeah, so I don't know if that's going to include, Christians and Tea Party. So, all the... It's hilarious because a Tea Party has been in office for how long? You got a lot of, freshman congressmen that have been there, and they're acting like they're the cause of all of the everything that's bad that's happened in this country the last 20 years. So, the Tea Party's making them look bad right now. Ted Cruz made them look really bad, doing a big filibuster, and then the spectacular disaster, the Hindenburg, if you will, of Obamacare. So, I'd say they're looking good, and so I guess they can try to... during the shutdown, they were, used every opportunity to, blame the Tea Party. It was all the Republicans, blame the GOP, blah, blah, blah. Making people feel the pain, going after veterans. I wouldn't put anything past these people. There's also a military purge going on. Nuclear commanders that are getting, either forced to retire. I forget exactly. They're resigning, getting fired. Ever since Benghazi, there's been a lot of things going on with the military. Is there a coup going on? I don't know. So I don't know. Now they're trying to flip the script. Going after all these, all the bad, Tea Party. For them, they're the new terrorists that are going to do anything. And anything that you disagree with the administration, then you're apparently a terrorist or a Tea Party, or I have no idea. It's bizarre to cover because it's just so overwhelming and crazy. This is like a bad dream we're having, Brian. I don't know.
Yeah, that is sure what it seems like is happening. Every time you dig around more, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And another thing about things getting worse, we have the Grid X experiments where they're gonna. If I understand this right, their intention is to not shut everything down, but to disconnect them from the backup grids that have kept them going, which is kind of like taking someone off life support. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this out. But you have that coming up, the Grid X2 exercise, right along the time that food stamps are going to get cut. I know this is another story that's kind of been out there, and even last week you saw there was a bit of a glitch on the credit card, or what is it, the EBT systems, or the SNAP cards? What are they called?
Yeah, EBT cards, yeah.
Yeah, and people at Walmart were calling all their friends, come on up here, there's no limit, and then it was causing damn near riots and cleaning the shelves off at Walmarts, and now they're going to reduce the food. Well, it's not that they're going to reduce it. It wasn't at the 2009. It was the 2009 stimulus bill that temporarily added to some of the welfare food stamp benefits, and now that's about to expire in a week or two. Just at the same time that, like in New York, they're fortifying federal buildings. It almost seems like they're planning for a riot. You've been following this too? Yeah,
I was covering that today, making those connections, and we had Fox Business, Neil Cavuto, because there's a couple of stories out there. Yes, the Homeland Security, because you're talking about the grid shutdown coming up, FEMA drills and stuff, and you've got, Homeland Security spending $80 million on armed guards for civil disturbances. They're going to be protecting, IRS buildings, the federal government type of buildings.
Yeah, because if there's one place I think we should protect, it would be the IRS, clearly.
Right. I don't know how we'd function as a country without the IRS, Brian. It'd be over.
Oh,
they are the backbone that keeps everything running.
The backbone. How about crushing your backs on an unsustainable load of debt? Well, them and the Federal Reserve, I guess. But yeah, but we've been saying this for a while, Blake. We've been saying, hey, look at this story connected with that one. Look, it's coming. Look, it's going to happen. Look, it's going to crash. But it hasn't yet, so we're still crazy, aren't we?
Well, I guess we'll be crazy up until something happens. But, I'm definitely alarmed, because of also the other connection with this, the food stamps are going to be cut back a little over 10%, between 10 and 15%, I suppose. which doesn't sound like a lot because I think people get about $272 a month, and they're going to take off about $36 a month. But which is still, that's a significant chunk of that. And so, I mean, that's probably just the tip of the iceberg here. We've seen what happens when this happens overseas, when they start cutting back on food. You can look at Greece or something like that. When people aren't getting all the goodies and they have nothing left to lose, they might start losing it. So whether they're arming up, like I said, $80 million on armed guards. And I don't like the fact that this food stamp cutback is on November 1st, because that is the day after your favorite holiday, Brian, Halloween.
Yeah, right around the. Well, I like it because it's like a week and a day after United Nations Day. That's why I like November 1st the most. I mean, yeah, it's right. Halloween, but it gives me the appropriate amount of time to recover from my United Nations Day celebrations. But yes, so tell me why you're a little the Halloween food stamp connection. What are you thinking there?
Well, I don't know, because it's like the day before the food. So if you're I don't know, say in Detroit, and your food stamps are getting cut back. I don't know. It's something about Halloween, and they call it Devil's Night up in Detroit. I can't remember. Is it Halloween where they burn half the city down or something?
Yeah, I mean,
they set up all kinds of fires. I don't know. I just with if they're talking about potential riots and stuff, it just seems like Halloween is that night where everyone's out. There's tricks, a little more tricks and treats perhaps this year. I don't know if that's something that should be alarming. Is that a coincidence? I just don't like that it also happens to fall on Halloween here, because I don't know if that's going to make people just a little bit extra crazy or what have you. But I don't know. What would anyone do if you've got nothing left to lose and you're about to get some benefits cut and it's Halloween night? I don't know.
Yeah, I found some articles. Detroit fights Devil's Night, the Halloween time arson that is a deadly local custom. So yeah. I mean, it's a time for tricks and treats and trying to get away with things and being rebellious and being, who knows, criminal. But I don't know. I mean, that's the problem with welfare benefits. It's not a temporary, hey man, you've fallen on some tough times, you need to crash on my couch for a couple. And this happened to a friend of mine, Blake. I think what was it, back in May. Haven't heard from this guy in a while, and he fell on some hard times. He was in between places. It happens. And he just said, I don't have a car. I don't even have a car to sleep in. Don't have a job, don't have a place, and I've kind of called everybody else I could think of. And yeah, it was, around that time, you offer the couch, try to cook a few meals, try to go have some fun and stuff. And if that's what welfare was, I'd be okay with it. Everybody has the potential to hit their rock bottom and to find their baseline of, wow, things haven't gone right for a little bit in a row now, and here I am. But that's not what welfare is. It's like, hey man, can I make you so comfortable that you never leave my couch? Can I just make sure I buy extra food at the store so you don't have to go get a job? Hey, I'll give you a voucher. Here, take this credit card. Go take taxis and just drive around. I mean, that person loses the motivation to do anything because I've made it comfortable for them there. That's not the point. It's supposed to be a stopover point to kind of stabilize, get your stuff together, send out some resumes, and go. But, now it's not like, well, so what? So what? Food stamps are going down 10% or about $30 for a family of four. That's what, $7 a person. Big deal. But it's not like they're viewing that as, oh, thank God someone was there to hook me up a little bit because I've been in a hard time. It's like, no, that's my money. That's my money. Get your hands off of my money. It's like, but that's not their money. You can't go to somebody's house and ask to crash on their couch and eat some food and start getting yelled at when they're, eating your Ben and Jerry's ice cream or they're. I just
right.
don't get the rationale of it. And that's a dangerous thing about welfare and where this country's headed. We've lost a lot of jobs, and we've made a lot of people dependent, which further plays into the Cloward and Piven strategy of collapsing the economic system to install communism, Marxism, socialism, whatever blend of horrible ideology that may be. But that's the school that Obama went to. That's a school that President Obama's mentors went to. It's in their playbook, so you got to look at Obamacare's Hindenburg of a website and combat it, and compare it and contrast it with some of these other things, Blake. It could become a problem.
Ready for some, very weird times, and very divisive. And then of course they're going to flip the script on everybody. So when all these people are going to be freaking out because they're losing some of their benefits, now there's whatever, whether there's no jobs or whether it's the cutbacks on the food stamps. I mean, I'm sure they're going to blame it on the Tea Party. Blame it on all the, all their political enemies, I suppose, and say it's because of people like Ted Cruz that you don't have as much money this one. I don't know.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and we'll just have to keep our fingers crossed while we get there. And I have a hunch, Blake, and I just saw a recent CBS report that just came out. Just crossed my eyes as we've been talking, but it says that during the election. I'm trying to pull it up here to give you the exact verbiage of it, but it was saying that, Obama administration delayed many Obamacare regulations until after the 2012 election. Here you go, America. More proof you were lied to. The regime deliberately held information back about Obamacare to protect His Majesty's re-election. That's coming from CBS. CBS, that's something that the sheeple, they think that's the real news, and if it's on CBS, that's got to be true. Did you find it interesting that the dinosaur media is starting to pick up on this stuff finally?
I don't know. Maybe I guess everybody's got to be getting concerned at this point. And when you make this Obama, this spectacular disaster, and then you keep expecting, the media to protect you and protect the administration. I don't know at what point they finally snap. I mean, you saw Jay Carney get walked out of a press conference the other day. He couldn't take it anymore. Sebelius is on the run. Lois Lerner was on the run. Now she's retired. I mean, how much longer is the media supposed to sit here? Because we did a show exactly 1 year ago today, Brian. I think maybe it was the date. Maybe it was October 25th. About the day the liberal media died on October 24th of 2012. That's when they all decided to, protect Obama, when all the embarrassing Benghazi scandal and all the emails were all leaking out, and they all started freaking out. And rather than report on the facts, they decided, okay, we're going to protect the president. And they've been doing it for a long time, but it's like every scandal that comes out, and then all these scandals, they're trying to sweep them under the rug, and then a new scandal pops up, and then now you've got the Obamacare. I mean, they all push the narrative that it was the GOP that was causing the big government shutdown, and they were intentionally trying to make people feel the pain, even though they only shut down 17%. But I mean, even the press, I guess, has its limits, and they can't just keep covering for this guy. And you can't throw everybody under the bus and expect them to polish your you-know-whats.
No, please elaborate on what we're polishing, Blake. No, this is good.
All right.
No, but I mean, I'm just kidding. We know that shutdown with trying to close oceans and the World War II memorials. You know that was Barack Obama trying to make a political point, and it was disgusting beyond belief, at least in my mind, to try to tell our greatest generation who fought and died overseas that they can't see their own monument, where they're actually spending more money to try to close something down that belongs to the people. That was insane, and that was not the Republicans by any stretch.
Yeah, no, I agree. And now that, it'd be one thing if the Obamacare thing, was working really well, and people were now, signing up, and look at all the money I'm saving. I'm going to go, have another vacation this year because of all the money I saved. Wow, this really is an Affordable Care Act. Then people, of course, could, point at the Republicans and go, you dirty birdies, I can't believe you were trying to prevent us from saving all this money and making the healthcare system work for all of us. But that's not the case. So
thanks to Obamacare, thanks to Obamacare, I saved 15% on my health insurance, like a Geico ad or something. Nobody's saving money. Nobody is saving money at all. People are getting dropped. It's increasing the cost $200, $400 a month, much more than that in some circumstances. This is a debacle. But yeah, will the media hold him accountable? He's skated by on everything else. Is he truly the golden boy? Is he untouchable? Will he rule?
He was for a long time, and yeah, you saw them all come out to protect him on the Benghazi thing. But then it was just boom. This year, scandal after scandal after scandal, and they would, cover it briefly and then sweep it under the rug. But I mean, how much is, how long can they keep continuing to protect him? And then how can they possibly protect, the Obamacare thing? This has been, and it just makes everyone else, it just makes them all look bad. You can't possibly try to polish this turd. Okay, there you go. I said it.
Oh,
anyway.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about polishing much worse than that. So I'll actually take it because it sure seems like there's I'm just going to leave it at that. But
yeah, no, I know.
I
want to say more, I can't.
They're polishing something because they've had a bit of a love affair with this guy for a little too long. That being the media. This president is the smartest man to ever walk the planet. Oh, the sea levels will recede, and the violent Muslim countries are going to love us now because we have a half black, half white president. Oh, everything's going to be fine now. Look, we finally did it. We did it. Obama, yes we can. Right? They've been covering for him for a long time, but I've been counting. Blake, what is he? Not the over-under, but can you guess? What would your guess be on impeachable offenses that this president has been involved in at this point? How many of them?
Somebody wrote an article not too long, a few months ago, and they listed 100 different things that you could technically impeach a president for. But I think we could work that down to maybe 5 or 6 that would be really easy to focus on. Certainly a lot of stuff. So,
yeah, I was thinking somewhere 5 or 7, something like that, with the IRS, with Benghazi, with Obamacare, with now I'm drawing a blank.
Going over the
Fast
Libya,
and Furious, Libya, Syria. Yeah, good times. Good times. This guy. I don't know, Blake. But I'll tell you what. I think in this next week, finally, when you have places like CBS finally manning up and telling the real story, I think the truth is winning out, and I think the days are going to be looking much brighter for us in the future. And just remember, Republicans that want to think this is about Republican or Democrat, Romney will be pushing Romneycare right now. So don't you tell me this is all about Obama. It's about a broken system that elects oligarchs. It's ruling families that never leave office. Congress members have been bought and sold a long time ago. Supreme Court justices that may or may not be being blackmailed and changing their opinions on stuff because the NSA has listened to every phone call and read every email you've ever done, so they will release the dirt unless you play their game. The whole system needs to hit reset. It's done. The game of Monopoly is over. The properties have been distributed. The money has been handled and stacked, and you know what? At some point during the game Monopoly, you just have to hit reset and play another game, Blake. But tell you what, man, we're about out of time over here. So why don't you tell everybody what you're doing on your radio show, what they can expect next week, how they can stay connected with you in the meantime, shall we?
Very good. Thank you, Brian. Pleasure as always. Again, my name is Blake Walley, Blake the Eccentric. You can follow me on Twitter, Eccentric99. I run a radio show Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at freedomizerradio.com from 12 to 1:30 Pacific time. You can get the podcast by searching iTunes for Eccentric Perspective. And who knows what I usually just cover the news on my radio show depending on whatever I get that day, whatever's hot off the wire, so it depends day by day, but this Obamacare disaster is not going away anytime soon. It'll take, even the most liberal estimates say this thing would take 6 weeks to fix, and so, no, there's going to be just more developments coming out of it. I mean, there's just so many different angles to attack from. You don't know what to do.
You're absolutely right, Blake. You're absolutely right, man. Well, hey, thanks for joining us again. We'll connect next week. All right, pal? Hey, everybody. Signing off. Brian Engelman here on thenewamericanmedia.com and the TNAM Radio Network for Agree to Disagree. Peace.